The best way to actually show you excess potential and to really show you how it manifests in our lives is to show you some of the most embarrassing failures of my life that I would have preferred to not share with the internet. Everybody wants to manifest something, but not everybody actually realizes that they are the major reason that their manifestation isn't coming true, why it's not actually becoming real in physical reality. Now, the name of what most of us are doing without even realizing it, that is the major number one killer of our manifestations. It's called excess potential. And that's why in this video, I'm very thrilled to share with you all about what excess potential is, because once you see it for what it is, you're probably going to be like me. You're going to hysterically crack up and laugh. It's going to become so obvious how much you've been getting in your way. And of course, you're never going to do it again, because why would you? So like I said, excess potential is the literal killer of manifestations. And I've determined that the best way to actually show you excess potential and to really show you how it manifests in our lives is to show you some of the most embarrassing failures of my life that I would have preferred to not share with the internet. But it's really the best way to show you how it causes the behavior of yourself to actually be pushing away the success that you could be having. When I was 16, I was absolutely convinced that I was going to be a mega star in terms of a famous musician. I was so convinced that I actually was able to attract into my life via the law of attraction, which you can learn more about on Vibes and Frequencies Academy, tagged below, and some other videos down there. I was so in on that vibe that I actually managed to attract a record label and a producer. However, this is what they were able to get my first song to sound like in the recording studio. I'm just going to play it for you, and then you'll see what I'm talking about.
It's funny when I think about all the stars, the way the lights flicker and how they're all so far.
Now I'm just going to get to my point. The point is, I hear this now, and I have no idea how I thought that that sounded good. To be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea how I thought that that was quality and was so awesome that I was going around and trying to show it to everybody and get them to come to my shows. Now, what ended up happening is people didn't like my music, they didn't come to my shows, and it ended up failing. And I dragged it on for many years, and I recorded more and more albums. You can probably see the name in the background if you're curious to check it out. I don't do that anymore. So I'm not trying to promote that. But what I'm trying to show you is that it was because of excess potential that I failed, and it's because of excess potential that I wasn't able to be legit in that moment, able to hear the song that we had recorded together and hear that it was not quality. I didn't know that because I wasn't present. I was lost in my excess potential fantasy. But the truth is that the reason that we're not actually looking at what's really happening around us is out of fear. It's because we are afraid that it might not actually work out. So we'd rather pretend that it will and live in a fantasy world. But what ends up happening when you do this is literally you are so lost staring at the clouds and creating so much excess potential that when you're walking through life, each of these little ticks is represented as it's supposed to be a challenge, something that comes up on your path to your dream. What ends up happening is you're not even looking at these things to traverse. You're not even looking at these challenges that are right in front of you. You're staring at a fantasy. So you keep tripping and face planning, and you keep burying yourself deeper, and you're still staring at the clouds going, why am I not famous yet? Why am I not a success yet? But if you stopped staring at the clouds and you actually looked directly in front of you, not at your fantasy, but directly in front of you, it was really happening, then you would see each challenge for what it is, and you'd be able to actually respond to that challenge as the version of you that is actually successful in manifesting that dream. This is why excess potential is the biggest killer of manifestations. Shoving your head in your butt and pretending like everything's working out and butterflies and rainbows does not work. I know this because I've done it so many times. I have even done it literally on my YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel, like right now, for example, I'm uploading a new video that I just made. This one's going to be Law of Attraction Crystals. That's the running title I've got so far. Work in progress. The idea is, my YouTube channel is the most important manifestation to me. I'm like really passionate about this and I love making videos. I seriously love it, guys. But I sometimes get my head so shoved up my butt, I start pretending like I'm a huge YouTuber in my head, even though I basically can only really manage right now 1,000 views per video maximum. That's like a good video for me. Now, I'm not hating on myself. I'm just being realistic and sharing this example with you. I can only manage that much. So for me to walk around pretending in my reality that I'm getting millions of views, what actually ends up happening is I don't actually go to my channel's homepage and look at my analytics. I don't look at it. I don't go on because, to be honest with you, it's because sometimes I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I look at my YouTube channel, I'll see that people aren't actually watching my videos or that people aren't liking it or that it's not working out. And it scares me because I start feeling like, am I a failure? Am I a failure? So what ends up happening is when we refuse to look at the truth in front of us because we'd rather pretend that we live in a fantasy, we actually aren't able to be here and do the things that you need to actually do to achieve that manifestation. So you need to stop being afraid and you need to stop projecting so much excess potential living in a fantasy world. Because the only way that you and I are going to achieve our manifestations is by legit being here and being that version of us now. The version of me that is a huge successful YouTuber is not afraid to log on to my homepage and see that my most recent video didn't perform well. The version of me that's successful is not afraid to log in and see that a bunch of people clicked off of that video in less than 30 seconds, or that the topics that I want to talk about aren't doing well. I have to be willing to actually look at reality and what's happening so that I can respond to it as the version of me that is actually going to succeed. See, when I actually log in and I look at my analytics, I learn all kinds of amazing information, like what people on my channel actually like what people are actually finding valuable. And I learn about the things that aren't working and are actually devastating my channel through the algorithm on YouTube. But I wouldn't have known those things or have learned what I need to change and do now to be that successful version. I wouldn't know that if I kept walking around with my head shoved up my butt, pretending like I was totally making it, but really at nighttime, fear, oh God, I hope I make it. I hope I make it. That's what's killing our manifestations, guys. Whatever you're manifesting, you need to actually be in reality and look straight ahead of you. Keep your head on your shoulders. The version of you that you are unlocking, that you are manifesting into reality, does not walk around pretending that they live in a fantasy fairy tale, trying to attract the life of their dreams. The version of you that's actually done it is there. They're being that version. They're doing the things that they need to do. They're living that life. They're not living in a fantasy. They're actually living in that world. I need to actually do things. I need to actually post more videos. I need to post better content that people actually like. I need to post more blogs, right? I need to make more of my courses and stuff to financially support myself. It's not going to work out if I'm just so afraid to look at reality that I'd rather look at some fantasy cloud where I pretend that I've already made it. It doesn't work. So there you have it, guys. I have just willingly thrown myself under the bus in front of all you guys, showing you my failures and my fears because I have a slight feeling that maybe some of us are doing this on different levels of our lives. We're afraid to actually be in the present moment and be that version of us because it's scary. It's out of our comfort zone. We are all the captain of our own ship in life. We're all steering a ship. But if you're just pretending in your mind, I'm the best navigator in the world. I'm so awesome. I'm the best navigator. Guess what? You're going to crash into a rock that's right in front of you that you could have easily steered out of the way from because you're in la la land. I've totally done it. I'm the best. I'm the best captain ever. If you want to actually be the best captain ever, you have to look straight ahead of your ship, hands on the wheel, and turn out of the way of the rock. You can't just pretend that the rocks aren't there. You will destroy your ship. You will not make it where you're trying to go. Do not be afraid to be here now and live in reality because you are an incredibly powerful being. Do not be afraid. Do not give into that fear. You don't need to live in a fantasy world to accomplish your dreams. You need to actually live here in reality and bring your dreams into it. That's why excess potential is the #1 killer of manifestations. You create so much energy up here that you have none left to actually put here where it should be. There are key manifestation principles and ways that you can unlock the highest vibrational version of yourself within you. And you can transcend these issues just like I'm doing. But we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest, and we have to be here now. And that's why I've created 2 very special things I've tagged below for you guys: the key manifestation principles and how to unlock your highest vibrational self. It's the most powerful stuff I've ever created. It's the most raw, it's the most honest, and it's the most straight up to the point, no BS, no fantasy. This is what you need to do to achieve the life of your dreams. But you and I, all of us here, we got to be honest with ourselves, and we got to stop choosing fear, and we got to stop choosing fantasy. You can accomplish your dreams, but you need to actually be accomplishing them, not just in your mental fantasy, because you're going to not see the rock in front of you and you're going to trip on it, just like I've done over and over and over again. This is the moment you break through. This is the moment you break through all of the obstacles that have ever been in your way. Because the truth is that they were never obstacles. They only became obstacles because we weren't looking at reality for what it really is. We were lost in some fantasy story. So we trip on things, and then it's an obstacle. If we were here, if we were honest, if we were realistic with how powerful we truly are, but how that power actually comes into reality, well, then we wouldn't have had any obstacles. Those would have been things to climb up, to become even higher, even more powerful, to learn even more about ourselves. But it takes being here now. It's as simple as that. Much love. Thanks.